This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by my good friend and top trainer, Don Charles. Don, how are you? You see your hand now. I feel
Hold
like I'm
on.
the receiving end of a left hook.
Well, you asked how am I? You've caught me on a good day. Each day it gets better. The pain of losing gets better. You start to evaluate things. You have to look at everything, and I take it badly. I take it very. I'm not the only one. I'm sure if you speak to every coach, they'll tell you, no, it's the job that we love doing. We do it because we love doing it. But I'm very, very emotionally attached to what I do. And when we lose, yeah, it takes me a good few days, slash, in some cases, it takes weeks. In some cases, it takes months to try and accept it.
Well, I appreciate you doing this in that case, especially because it can't be easy.
No.
I guess you can tell us now because the Tyson Fury Derek Chisora third fight has happened. It's in the books. What were the kind of tactics? What was the game plan to, at the third time of asking, beat Fury?
Well, as a coach, I've had the privilege to study Tyson Fury uh, two times previous to this third encounter between Chisora and Fury. So I've had obviously studied the first fight, studied the second fight. You see the progression of Tyson Fury, how he's progressed over the years to be the Tyson that he is now. So the first Tyson we faced is not obviously the Tyson we faced 10 years later.
Sure.
Yeah, so the style is still the same style, but it's evolved. That style has evolved, and there's a lot of things that have been bolted onto it over the years. So yeah, I studied him. I sleep, eat, breathe Tyson Fury for the last 3 months, and yeah, we went in there with what I believe, like everybody else does, which would be the perfect game plan to try and dethrone this guy. And yeah, proved to be very, very difficult. It's one thing planning it, and two different or three different things to try and execute your plan. He has something to say about your game. I've also alluded in my previous interviews, even with yourself. I've always said about Tyson Fury's IQ, fighting, boxing IQ, is second to none. I said it. I also, in the past, previous chats and interviews with yourself, I've always said that no matter what game plan you bring, it has the ability to rip it up in front of you, and there's not a lot you can do about it. So that's exactly what happened to myself as a coach on that evening of the 3rd of December, White Hart Lane.
So it was nothing to do with the execution. There wasn't anything that you wanted Derek to do that perhaps he didn't do or he wasn't able to do. It was more that Fury was just able to counteract the game plan.
Yeah, it wasn't able to. It wasn't able to. It takes two to tango. I can plan as much as I want. My fighter can plan as much as he wants. But this guy is able to. He's versatile, Fury. He's able to snuff out the dangers that you might be bringing. He'll read your data in the first few rounds. He'll read your data. Once he collects your data, then he's able to stop you from doing carrying out your game plan to its full.
And is it difficult with a fighter like Derek, who's got a very specific style, he's been doing it a long time, to change things up when things aren't going your way? Because it's very unlikely we're going to see him get on his toes and try and box Fury. Not that would be a great tactic anyway. But once you're kind of 5-6 rounds down, was there much you could do to change the course of the fight?
Yeah, knock him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah, you pull a punch, your lottery numbers comes in, because that's what it'll take, a lottery number to come in for you to land that money shot. Like I said, if any style could actually give Fury problems, it would be that style of someone like Derek Chisora. The bobbing and weaving style, being elusive, hard to hit, making Tyson miss with his rangefinder. That's the type of style, and the punches that knock people out in general, you don't see them. So a shorter person who's bobbing and weaving would either throw a left hook, blind left hook, or on an over right hand, which you will not see. That's the plan. But unfortunately, you can plan as much as you want. Like I said, execution is the problem. And someone with that high IQ, also somebody with that size. You know, when you're fighting Tyson Fury, it's almost like, let's relate. Compare this to like that of a 100-meter in an Olympic final. No matter how fast you are, you cannot give the opposition a 10-yard or 20 yards meter head start. When you're fighting Fury, that's in comparison. That's what's happening here, where the size is a factor. You're handicapped, yeah, to a guy who has a high IQ, boxing IQ, a guy who's so versatile, a guy who fighting doesn't faze him. He was born to fight. There's so many elements you're dealing with. So am I proud of my boy? Derek Chisora, always proud of him, because he went in there and gave it. It brought many people in the recent times that folded miserably in front of Fury. Fury has stopped. Even if I said the last 3 fights prior to Derek Chisora, he floored every single one of them multiple times and stopped them. Yeah. So I know we're getting a lot of criticism on the line. I'm aware of it. I don't read them because I don't do social media, but I get told we're absolutely crucified. But like Jesus Christ said, who or she who has not sinned, throw the first stone. So I challenge all of the critics. A lot of them have never hit a punch bag in their life, or never been in a boxing gym, but yet again, they're no better than me as the coach. And so we're ready for it. Do your work. Bring it on.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to be particularly scathing, but I will ask the question. The criticism that you talk about is mainly centered on the fact that there are people out there that believe you should or could have withdrawn Derek earlier than you did, maybe by a couple of rounds, whatever. Just tell us, for the people out there, why didn't you do that?
Why didn't I do that? There's a number of factors, not just one reason. Yeah. Right. I'll give you a couple of 3 or so main reasons. If I believed, because I know Derek better than all these critics, I know him. I see Derek day in, day out. For the last 16 years of coaching a person, you get to learn and know about them, their body language, everything, their facial expressions, their speech. You get to learn a lot about the fighter. And on that evening of the 3rd of December, we had a game plan going in there. And round by round, I'll gladly sit with all the critics. I'll gladly sit in a room with them and play the fight again. Okay. My fighter, at no point did I feel that, okay, he's in that type of danger where I need to pull this fight out. I was going to pull him out. I'll tell you in a minute when I was going to pull him out. Okay? Right. He was being hit, definitely, more time than he has done in the previous contests with anybody. Okay? Tyson Fury has something to do with that. Tyson Fury was putting good combinations together. Tyson's now boxing on the front foot. That's the change. An additional thing is put to his style. Sugar has got him boxing, being more aggressive from the word off. He was being aggressive on his front foot. Right. Like I said, we were taking punches, but a lot of the punches that to the public who haven't got a fine-tuned eye like the coach has, they were being partially blocked. Yeah, a few went in clean, a few shots went in clean. Derek Chisora is known for his chin, but not to the degree had Tyson Fury hit Derek Chisora with any of the shot he floored Wilder with, or floored Dillian White with. I believe we would have got knocked out. Yeah, the reason when he's throwing for the uppercut, which we know he's going to be looking for, they were being partially blocked. the cross-arm defense deflects most part of that shot. We might take 25/30% of that shot instead of the full 100% of it, of that shot. So that's one of the reasons. So every time I'm looking at it, remember, I'm close to the action. The audience are not as close as I am to the action. I can see my fighters. I can see my fighters' eyes. And every break we had prior to the fight being stopped by the referee, it was coherent. I was speaking to Derek in the corner. I will first, my style of coaching, my style of cornering, I will always, after my fighter recovers, 10 seconds after they sit down, I always allow them to breathe. Then after 10 seconds or so, it's almost like a habit now. How are you feeling is always my question to the fighter. Provided that fighter answers me, and it's not, his speech is how I know it to be, accurate, and then it's my duty to remind him of what they have to do in the next round, right? So every round that went by, I spoke to my fighter. My fighter also, every round he went out, told me to get out. And that's Derek's code of I am okay. Get out, because I'm going to go and do something about what's happening in that ring. Okay. Right. That's one example. Second example of why I carried, giving him every opportunity, because it is his last chance to contest for this. The last time we fought for this title was against Vitaly Klitschko in 2010 in Munich. Now, this is Derek's last opportunity. Remember, this fight, we weren't in the pecking order to get this fight in the first place. Okay? Will Derek Chisora be able to contest for the WBC title again? No. The answer is capital N-O. So we've got this wonderful opportunity to contest for it. I'm going to give him every possible chance, because I know he's got that punch. He has demonstrated it in the past. Okay, right. That's another one. The referee came to us in the beginning of round 9. He said, Don, Derek, you've got to do something here, or else I'm going to have to make a decision here. Derek, the referee came to Victor McLaughlin. He came and told us that. I said, fine, referee, we hear you. I said to Derek, right, you heard that. Come on, I'm going to give you another round, and or else I'm going to have to make a decision. I don't know if the microphone picked it up or not. Go and check it. Such conversation was had. Right. My intentions was, if my boy comes back at the end of round 10, then I would have had to make a decision. I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So when I'm getting criticized, which I don't mind, that's what they're there for. The critics are there to critique. The fans are there to critique. That's what makes the whole industry interesting, you know. So, so my question to the critics is, if they were Don Charles for one moment, what round would they have pulled Derek Chisora out? And for what reason? What? Because he was taking such a hammering. I have to disagree, because that's what everybody's going, is taking such a hammering. Yeah? Not the fight I was watching. People might think I'm delusional. No, the fight I was watching, I will sit down in a room and educate everybody, from coaches to journalists to what you're seeing. So let me break it down, what they're watching. Yeah? If we were getting knocked down and getting up, and I'm letting the fight carry on, every round we went down. How many times have you seen that in a fight? Fighters do go down, and they get up. Fighters are cut to bits, and they get up, you patch it up, and you carry on. Because, like I said, there's a lot of reasons why I would have allowed it, to the degree where the referee, who was already in conversation with us, the referee is there to do that job. That's his job. Okay? I had made my mind up. Had my guy come back at the round 10, I would have had to make a decision. Okay, that's what was in my mind. The referee intervened prior to the round ending, which is a right call. I'm not for any minute questioning the referee's decision. It was the right decision. Yes, it was. That's what he's there for. Okay, now, again, now having time to look at and reflect, one other thing I came came to me the other day when I was analyzing the whole fight is that this fight was heavily criticized when it was made by the masses, that it shouldn't be happening. Okay. Oh, this fight, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to buy it. That was the general consensus of the general public media. Now, to everybody's surprise, the fight sold out. The stadium was sold to capacity. I'm not sure how much it did on what the viewing figures were on the pay-per-view. I'm not sure. Right. I should imagine it's pretty high. Yeah. So suddenly, this fight has captured, this fight, everybody said it wasn't going to do anything. Suddenly, it's captured the public's imagination. Okay. Was it a one-sided fight? Yes, it was. But every round, my boy went out there. Derek Chisora went out there. Every round, go and watch the fight without any premeditated assumptions or mindset that, yeah, you're going to condemn this fight, whichever way you're going to condemn it. All right. So every round Derek went out, he initiated the fight. He was throwing the jab to the body, to the chest and to the stomach. For the first 45 seconds to the minute, then Fury would take over the rest of the rounds. That's how that fight was. Every round replicated itself. Okay, every round was replicated. That's why we were people might thinking, what are you talking about? I'll sit you in a room and I'll play the fight round by round. Every round that bell rang, Derek came out for the first 30, 45 seconds. I know it's a 3-minute round. I'm aware of that. I'm just saying how the fight was panning out. So every round you're thinking, we got hope here. We got hope here. Okay? That we could throw that magical shot and your lottery numbers will come home. Yeah? Tyson, with all his technical ability, was able to tie us up and subdue any threats we may pose. That's how the fight was unfolding. It's quite frustrating to watch, but that's how the fight was unfolding. So it's easy to be a, that's probably the easiest job in the world, to be a critic. And so if I explain to the audience, to the critics, that's how I see it. Okay. And like I said, had I stopped that fight premature, let's say, do you know the amount of criticism the promoter would have got? We told you this fight was fixed. I've even heard experienced boxing trainers, which I'm really, really shocked, because they too should know better. They're saying that, oh, Tyson Fury was carrying Derek Chisora. Not from where I was standing. Tyson was trying to stop Derek. Round three in particular, Tyson opened up on Derek, and Derek withstood the onslaught and then put his arms out, say, come on then. That's early as round 3. That fight could have finished in round 3. Yes, it could. Derek Chisora being the guy he is. He weathered the storm, and from there, Tyson didn't open up to that degree. That was the only time Tyson sustained an attack. He pinned Derek on the rope and he wouldn't stop throwing. He was missing some, but he was landing an awful lot as well. When we survived that round, I thought, okay, because we've been here before with other fighters. Takam did that to Derek in the first round. Second round, I thought the fight was going to end there and then. Takam brought it and pinned Derek on the rope. We survived it. The result was we knocked Takam out in round 8. Okay? Right. Now, when you don't know your fighter, then you will panic to pull them out prematurely. Like I said, had I pulled them out prematurely, that's not the reason why I let the fight carry on. Yeah? Had I pulled him out prematurely, the consequences also it wouldn't be on me, the trainer, the corner, it would be on the promoter for selling the public a dodgy fight, which is what they were, the general opinions out there prior to the fight. Oh, this fight, a fight between two friends, is not going to be a fight. Yeah, so there's so many colors to it. It's not just as what people, it's easy to sit on there and say, oh, corner did a terrible job, should have pulled him out. Well, I didn't.
Now, you were on our podcast a few months ago and you said you'll know when it's time for Derek Chisora to retire, and you would be the one to speak to his mother about it.
Correct.
Is it time, Don, to make that call?
No.
Why not?
Capital no. Because I'm yet to still speak to my fighter. Yeah, we haven't sat down. Derek traveled shortly after the fight. He traveled. He's back. He's gonna have a Christmas with his family, with his children, his family. First and foremost, I'll tell everybody, the being as everybody suddenly is concerned about Derek Chisora, which I find quite alarming. Yeah, they really, 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 really care for Derek, right? Right. So to all the people who care about Derek, I can tell you he's very, very well. Yeah, everything is intact. His speech is there. Okay, his sight is there. He sustained a cut. He's never been cut in his career ever. Okay, he hasn't had any cut in his career. Inside mouth, yes, but no skin cuts. First time he had a cut. So that's healed up. Obviously, it takes 2 years for a cut to heal properly internally, but the stitches are out. He's fine, and he's in good spirit. And like I said, we haven't sat down to talk about the fight or to talk about the future. So it so happens it's Christmas. He's good enough and well enough to enjoy Christmas with his family. After that, then should we sit down and talk about boxing? And there's so much more to life than boxing. We love it, but like I said, it happens to be fallen and with it's Christmas period, and he's got a family, a big family. So I'm going to let him enjoy his Christmas with his family. Then in the new year, we'll sit down and talk about everything.
And if he decides he wants to carry on, your
Mhm.
involvement in that, would that depend on who he wanted to fight? Would there be any, if he said, "Oh, I want to go and fight Deontay Wilder," would you be less keen to carry on with him than if he wanted to fight Fabio Wardley, for example?
Like I said, no comment.
Fair enough. But as of right now, you will not be advising him to retire. You want to wait and sit down with him and come to an agreement together.
It's not a question of advising him to retire or not to retire. To be or not to be, that is the question. What I said to you is that after Christmas, we're going to sit down and discuss what happens next. Then will I have a definitive answer for you.
And you said earlier you don't think that it's likely Derek would challenge for the WBC title again.
Mm-hmm.
If his career does continue, what are the remaining goals from your perspective you'd like to see him achieve?
Well, the only title he hasn't won is a world title, and there are several world titles out there, isn't there? Several belts. The WBC one is the one everybody wants, obviously, the green one. It'll be, it's looking that way that we're not going to get that opportunity because we're not high in the pecking order for those titles. Those titles are engaged. So that kind of sorts itself out, really, depending on what Derek decides to do and determines what titles he fights for in the future. So that sort of sorts itself out, not me.
Well, you've got Daniel Dubois, who's the WBA regular champion. Joe Joyce is WBO interim champion.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're not full world titles, but would they mean something to Derek and to you?
Most definitely, most definitely. But like I said, I'm not at liberty to jump that far ahead because we don't know. We don't know until I have that conversation with Derek in the new year what he's going to do. When he lets me know what he wants to do, then would I give my opinion, whether it's a yes or a no opinion of what he should do. Then I will personally call you like I always do that, and with me, you're gonna get it on.
I'll look forward to that, Don. Now, before I let you go, just give us an idea of
Yeah.
what Christmas looks like for you. What are the plans?
I was 61. I was 61 last Friday. So the older I get, the luckier and the wiser I become. So yeah, basically, it's just going to be a chilled one because it has been a very hectic year. I obviously I'm only known for training directors, or I do train other fighters as well. I trained a cruiserweight WBA super champion. Arsene Gulmarin retained his title. He retained his title in against a Russian called Sergei Igorov. So we did win a world title in December, WBA super. We retained our title,
Yeah.
so that's a positive. and a welterweight that I train is also French, Milan Pratt. He won the European. He's now the European champion in the welterweight division. So there are positives within my camp. Even the loss we had is still a positive because it's a fight that we never expected to get. Suddenly, we find ourselves fighting for the WBC. How many trainers, how many fighters in their whole career come anywhere close to fighting for that title twice? Not many. So that's an achievement on its own.
Don, I asked what you were going to do for Christmas. Have you got it back?
I know.
To this?
Then you triggered. You know what I'm like. I'm old school. I'm an old-fashioned man. Yeah, because when I start talking, then it leads. I'm quite an emotional guy. So when you trigger something up, then I'm always honest, and that's probably what a lot of people want to shut me up. But guess what? I got bad news for them. This 61-year-old man, I'm gonna be here. God willing, keeps giving me longer life. I love this industry. I'm gonna keep trying to produce what I can produce till I check out from this planet. So I got bad news for the people who haven't got nothing better to do than to criticize people who are trying to live their dreams.
Well, I wish you, on that note, a great Christmas and a great New Year, and we'll look forward to more of the same in 2023.
Thank you very much, and likewise, same goes to you and your family. I hope you have a fabulous Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Don. You take care. Speak soon.